Yes, good day. So today we'll be looking at PHP increment or decrement operators. The PHP increment operators are used to increment a variable value. The PHP decrement operators are used to decrement a variable value. These are the kind of um, increment or decremental operators we have in PHP. We have the plus plus variable, which is called a pre-increment. What does this do? It does increments by one. It increments a variable by adding one to them, then return the variable. We have the post increment, returns the variable, then increments by one. This one from the word pre, it happens before it brings out the value. While the post bring out the value, it return the variable, then before it adds ones to them. So we have the pre-decrement and post-decrement. They do the same thing. Let's see example. Okay, let me see use my operators page. See under operators, under the increment. If I want to increment this variable, let's say I have variable of variable, sorry, variable count is equals to 0. That's a variable, right? And I say because I want to increment, and I say variable. What kind of incremental value are we doing? We are working with incremental value of pre-increment. Pre-increment before we're going to do the post-increment. In the pre-increment is goes this way. We have the plus plus and the variable we want to increment, which is count, right? Then so once we echo count, variable count, let's see what's going to happen. So let's test this program. Remember, this count is 0. The variable count, we have declared 0 to this variable count. So, and we are using a pre-increment operator. So let's test localhost PHP len under operators. You can see it has incremented the value to 1. You can see it has incremented the value. That's why we said in the pre-increment, it increments by 1, then return the variable. Or in the post increment, it return the variable and now later increment it by 1. So let's try the post increment. Let's see. Let me do another post increment below. I will use another value. Or I comment this line. If you are using Sublime Text, if you are using Visual Studio Code, control slash will comment that line for you when you highlight them together. So let me do another. Okay, that will declare count already. So let's do it in form of post increment. So we have the variable count, then we have plus plus, right? Then we do what? Then we do what? We echo our variable count. Let's see what will happen here. Let's refresh. So it's going to still going to return the same. Sorry. Um, the previous one is plus plus. We have plus plus at the front, and this time around we have it at the back. So if you put this variable as 10, then this will be 11. Let's change this variable. Let's see. Let's see. Let's increment it. That's that about increment. If you're using plus plus, which means you should add to it. If you're using negative, minus minus means you should deduct from it. So we need to understand that. Let's proceed. Now, what are the PHP if else statements? PHP conditional statements are used to perform different actions based on different or specific conditions. PHP conditional statements, very often when you write code, you want to perform different actions for different conditions. You can use the conditional statements in your code to do this. In PHP, we have the following conditional statements. We have one, we have the if statement, we have the if else statement, we have the if else statement. The if statement executes some code if one condition is true, if only one condition is true. If else statement, it executes some code if condition is true, another code another code if that condition is false. While the if else statements are used to execute different more than two or three conditions at the same time. Let's test our if condition statement. Let's start from our if condition statement. Let's test. Let me create a new file. Sorry, conditions. .php. Want to go directly. Let's see. Let me write a condition here. For example, we are writing a code to deny a student less than 18 years to read the content. We are writing a code to deny a student less than 18 years to read the content. What's the condition there? The condition is any student that is less than 18 should not be able to read a particular content. So that's the condition. So you have to deny a student which is less than 18 to be able to read a particular line of content or line of action. For example, let's say we declare a variable student, right? Let's say we declare a variable student. We now say the student's age is, let's say, is 17, right? Let me say student age. This variable student age now, let's say is it 17. Now, and I said if student age, variable student age is less than 18, less than 18, so there should be a block of line for the condition. This is the block of line, this block from line 11 to 14. It's a block of line. Let me increase by one, okay. Now from line 11 to line 15 is a block of line. If the student age is less than 18, if the student age is less than 18, do this. Oops, let me just write oops. Echo can't view this, this, right? That is the condition that is there for only the if statement we have to work on. Because we said if statement executes some code if one condition is true. That is the if statement. That's the if statement. So now let's test this program under conditions. So I'm going to change my URL now to conditions. You can see it has seen that the student is not up to 18 from what we have in our code here. This student age is 17. So his age is that's which is student age is 17, which is the variable. We have stored this 17 inside this student age. So student age here will be seen as 17, and 17 is less than 18, which is true. So that's why the if conditional statement says that it executes some code if one condition is true. If what? If one condition is true, if it execute that code, if one condition is true. So that condition is true because 17 is less than 18. So the student age is less than this 18. So we're going to execute this block of code for us that oops, we are not allowed to view this content. That's why we have this. You can't view this content. Then the other conditional statement we have here is if else statement executes some condition. If a condition is true, another code if the condition is false. Now, if you want to execute if else statement, that one allows you to write the condition. If the condition is true, it is a good line, and it will allow you to have the condition if the condition is false as well. That's why we said here that if else statement executes some code if condition is true, it executes some code, and another code if condition is false. So there are two things that is going to happen here when the condition is true and when the condition is false. So now in this line of code, we can now put else here. Else, we can decide to say else and continue this way and say echo congratulations. You can read and proceed. Let's test this program again. Though we are still going to be having oops even when you test because that condition is not that student is less than 18 years. So if this student, let's say this student age is 18 precisely, you can see once it's 18, the program will come to this place to check the student age less than 18. 18 is not less than 18 because 18 is equal to 18. So definitely it will not read this line of code. It can come here. So let's see. Congratulations, you can read and proceed. Because you know that the condition now, the condition here is not true anymore. Because the student is 18. And if the student is 19, you to have congratulations, you can proceed. Or at times you can try to say else. You can try to say else like this. So this is the initial code. This is the initial code. Check it very well. This is the initial code. You can decide to say else by modifying this program. You can decide to say else, open bracket, and say $student age, which is variable student age, is greater than 18. That's what you put. So don't let me do that now. Let me just leave this way. Else is going to print this. So now on the third and we have if else statement. This one executes different condition or different code for more than one or two or for more than two conditions. statement. This line executes different code for more than two conditions. So doing this, now we can start to say, if you want to do this, you can just say else if again. Else if student age is greater than 18, or you can say greater than or equal to 18, or say greater than 18. Do this. You can start to say another else if. Let me copy this line. So you can use a lot of if, else if, till you get to your destination. You can now use else directly here. Else, else echo thank you. At this line, if you check the two conditions that we have here, if you check the condition, okay, the condition is less than 18, which is true, it will not enter this block of lines, you come here. Else, you check this place again. Is the condition greater than 18? If it's greater than 18, it should come into this line, and which is true. This line is true. So enter this line. Else, if any of these conditions is not true, if any of this condition is wrong, is false, it will now do execute this last line of code by saying thank you. Let's say this place now, we have let's say we have 18 here. It will not execute both lines of code here because 18 is not less than 18. 18, which is student age, which is 18, is not less than 18, and 18 is not also greater than 18. Then if you check these two conditions is not satisfied, then it will now come here. It will only tell you thank you. Let's see. Let me refresh and see. Thank you. You can see. To tell you thank you. Because both conditions are not met. So it will execute the last line of code, which is else. But if one of these conditions is executed, it will not do this line. Let's say 18 is greater than or equal to 18. Let's see. Greater than or equal to 18. Let's see. You can see. It tells you that congratulations, you can read and proceed because it's greater than or equal to 18. So this is correct. Or if we say 18 is equals to double, these are, now we are using our operators now, our comparison operator here. So you need to know the comparison operator very well. So we can see now the student's age is equal to 18, which is correct. So it should be the same thing. Congratulations, you can proceed and read. You can see, congratulations, you can proceed and read. So if any of these conditions are not satisfied, then it will now go and do the else. So we can use this line, this if, you can use this if else if condition to check more than two conditions at the same time. So that's about that, about the conditional statement. Okay, this was just an explanation of it here. So the PHP if statement, the if statement executes some code if one condition is true. The if statement executes some code if one condition is true, which we did. This is sample. If condition, then we put the code we want to execute in between the block, the curly brace brackets in the block of the code. We also have, okay, look at this. This is another example of code. They said if the PHP, now you have a variable t is equal to date hour. If the hour is less than 20, because this date is a PHP function to get the date, but we have h here, which is for hour. So let me just copy this line of code. Okay, let me use it. Let me write this code on our editor now. Let's see what we are going to have. So you can see the line, read the code very well. Purposely leave my screen so that you can read the code very well. So now in this code, what we are trying to do is that They want to know if the hour is less than 20 because the T here is representing time. So is equals to date. Date is a PHP function to get the date, and time. But we are now getting particular elements in the date and time, which is the hour. That's why we are using H here. We need the hour. So if the variable time is less than 20, if the hour here, because this is a PHP function for timing, if the hour is less than 20, have a good day. So let's see what code will give to us. So I think I will just comment this line out so that I don't want to delete this code so that you can be able to reuse them. I don't want to delete them. So I can comment it out. Comment that line out for us. I will highlight control slash. So once you want to remove it back, you press control slash again. It's going to be on comment. So let's see. It says t variable time equals to date. Date is the PHP function. Then we have what are we getting particularly from that time. We need, instead of having ymdh, we need only the h. So that's why we have it there. We need only the h. That's it. So sorry, variable time. Now said if variable time, if t, sorry, if variable time is less than 20, it should echo have a good day. So pass that line. About that. If less than 20, so let's see if it's echo have a good day. Let's refresh what we have here. Have a good day. Because the time now is less than 20 hours. So this is correct. So we can practice using them. We can check this if else statement, which check a condition, execute if it is true, and also check the condition and execute this if it is false. How we have here, if variable time less than 20, have a good day, else to tell you have a good night. So that is if else conditional statement. Then we now have the if statement. The if else. This one is used to check more conditions. That's why I have green here. I'm using green here. The if condition, the if then the conditional statement, the block of code is going to execute. Else if another condition with the block of code is going to execute if the condition is true. Else if the condition is false, to execute this line on black. So that is how PHP, the conditional statement works. So we'll be talking about the PHP loops later. The PHP loops are used to iterate, or let me say, are used to execute same block more than one time. If their condition, as long as their certain condition is true, as long as they fulfill some certain condition or some certain conditions are satisfied, so then we can repeat. It's used for repetition. That's why we have loops. They are used to execute a line of code more than one time. So that they are loops. So stop here. Thank you, and God bless you. Bless you.